The storm groaned across the darkening sea as 87-year-old Ivan Petrov clung to the cold railing of the yacht, his frail hands trembling not only from age, but from a fear he never imagined he would feel, not fear of death, but fear of betrayal from the very children he had raised with love, sacrifice, and sleepless nights. His son, Victor, and daughter, Alina, stood in front of him, their faces hardened by greed, their eyes reflecting not the kindness he instilled in them, but the emptiness of souls chasing wealth. "Your time is over, old man," Victor hissed, gripping Ivan's arm as though he were grabbing a piece of discarded fabric. "We want our inheritance now. Why should we wait for nature to take its course?" Ivan's heart cracked like thin ice, not from their words, but from the casual way they spoke them, without guilt, without hesitation, without the slightest memory of the man who had built their home, fed them, protected them, given them everything he never received himself. Alina crossed her arms, her voice cold. "Just sign the papers, and this ends quickly. We'll make it look like an accident. You lived a long life, Papa. Let us live ours." Ivan felt his breath stagger, the wind whipping against his face like knives. He pleaded with the last of his strength, "Children, my children, I raised you better than this. Have you no shame, no heart?" But his words struck them like feathers on stone. Victor shoved him toward the deck's edge, and Ivan stumbled, the sea roaring beneath him like a hungry beast. One more push and he was falling. The icy water swallowed him whole, the shock punching the air from his lungs as he fought to resurface. He gasped and sputtered, his arms flailing in the churning water as the yacht drifted away. The last thing he saw before the waves crashed against his face was his children leaning over the railing, laughing. Their voices echoed across the water like ghosts of the love they once had. "Goodbye, Papa, enjoy your swim." But the sea, though merciless, had a strange way of honoring those who respected its power. And Ivan, though old, was not weak in spirit. He kicked his legs, fighting the pull of the tide. Memories flashed before his eyes, his wife's smile, the long nights working double shifts, the tiny hands of Victor and Alina clinging to his fingers as toddlers. And now, those same hands had thrown him into the abyss. Just when exhaustion began to consume him, a loud horn blared. A fishing boat, battered but sturdy, cut through the waves toward him. A young man leaped from the deck and swam to Ivan, grabbing him under the arms. "Hold on, Dedushka, I've got you." The stranger lifted him with surprising strength and hauled him aboard. As Ivan collapsed on the wooden deck, coughing seawater from his lungs, he looked up into the eyes of the man who had saved him, in unfamiliar but compassionate gaze. Who are you?" Ivan whispered. The young fisherman smiled gently. "My name is Mikhail, and I think God sent me at the right moment. You're safe now." Ivan, shivering and drenched, blinked away tears not from the cold, but from the realization that a stranger had shown him more humanity in 1 minute than his own children had in years. But Mikhail's rescue was only the beginning. Neither of them knew that this moment would set off a chain of events that would shake the town, expose a lifetime of hidden greed, and prove a lesson to both the wicked and the kind, that evil might push a man into the water, but fate could still pull him out. Ivan awoke in Mikhail's small but warm coastal cottage, the smell of herbal tea drifting in the air, and the soft crackling of firewood breaking through the silence. His body ached from the cold, but his spirit ached more from betrayal. As he sat up, wrapped in a thick blanket, Mikhail approached with concern. "You're lucky, Dedushka," he said gently. "Another 10 minutes in the sea would have taken you." Ivan swallowed hard, struggling to find the strength to speak about what happened, but the words spilled out like a broken dam, his children's threats, their greed, the push that sent him overboard. Mikhail listened, jaw tightening with anger. "They tried to kill you for money," he repeated, barely containing his rage. "No. They will not get away with this." But Ivan lifted a trembling hand. "No, my boy. I don't want revenge. I want truth." And truth, fate decided, was ready to come. Mikhail helped Ivan contact the authorities. But what neither of them knew was that the yacht's security system had been recording audio the entire time. A storm damaged the boat, on its way back, forcing Victor and Alina to call for towing. And that's when a mechanic discovered the system logs that included the siblings' vicious plan, their words, their laughter, as they discarded their own father like trash. Police swarmed in before Ivan even reached the station. The siblings were arrested on charges of attempted murder, inheritance fraud, and elder abuse. The entire town buzzed with shock. People who once envied Victor and Alina's polished image now spat their names in disgust. Reporters gathered outside the courthouse, whispering, "How could children do such a thing?" Ivan, escorted by Mikhail, arrived only to testify, but his heart felt heavy with pain rather than triumph. When Victor and Alina were brought out, in handcuffs, they stared at him not with remorse, but with bitterness. "You ruined everything," Victor shouted. "You should have just died." Alina sneered. "Enjoy your pity parade, Papa. You won't last long anyway." But then, something unexpected happens, something that silenced every person in that courtroom. Ivan stepped forward, voice trembling but loud enough for all to hear. "My children," he said softly, "I may forgive you one day, because forgiveness heals the giver, not the receiver. But understand this, It wasn't your cruelty that destroyed you, it was your greed. You tried to take my life for inheritance, but in the end, you lost something far more valuable, your humanity. The room fell silent. Even the judge paused. For the first time in their lives, Victor and Alina had nothing to say. Sentencing was swift, and when it was over, Ivan stepped outside into the cold air and breathed deeply, not with sorrow, but with release. Mikhail looked at him. What will you do now, Dedushka? Ivan smiled faintly. Live, for the first time in a long time. I will live for myself. News spread across the region about the old man saved by a stranger, the children imprisoned by their own cruelty, and the unexpected friendship that blossomed from tragedy. People came to Ivan's cottage with gifts, food, letters of support, even strangers offering to help. But to everyone's surprise, Ivan used the same money his children once coveted to build something new, a small foundation for abandoned elders. Run side by side with Mikhail. Let those who were thrown away, Ivan said during the opening ceremony, find a home again. And they did. Dozens of seniors found warmth, care, and dignity under the roof, built from Ivan's suffering. His story became a reminder whispered across villages and cities. Greed may drown a man, but kindness can bring him to shore. And whenever someone asked Ivan how he survived that day, he would smile gently and say, not because my children saved me, but because a stranger chose to care. And that stranger became the family he never thought he would find.